Okay, so here I'm going to show you how to solve a rational equation, and that's all I'm going to show you here. Now here I have an equation. You see the equal. So I have 3 over x minus 2 plus 2 over 2x plus 1 equal 13 over 11. Now to solve a rational equation, it's not easy, but what you have to do is you have to find the lowest common denominator. And you have to multiply each term by that lowest common denominator. So here, it's not too hard to find the lowest common denominator because you just take the three factors, or the three denominators. 11, x minus 2, and 2x plus 1. So that's your lowest common denominator. Alright, so here's the tricky part. You've got to multiply each one of these terms. So you take each term in the expression and you multiply each term by that lowest common denominator. So I'm going to multiply 3 over x minus 2 by this. Then I'm going to multiply 2 over 2x plus 1 by this. And then I'm going to multiply 13 over 11 by this. Now, it actually cleans up rather quickly because each time you multiply by one of these three terms, something's going to cancel. So like if you multiply this product by 3 over x minus 2, then the x minus 2's will cancel, and you'll get 3 times 11, which is 33, times 2x plus 1, and that's basically what you get, 33 times 2x plus 1. Now if you multiply here, your 2x plus 1 is going to cancel, and you're going to have 2 times 11, which is 22, times the x minus 2. Now over here to the right of the equal sign, the only thing that's going to cancel is the 11, and so you're going to have 13 times x minus 2 times 2x plus 1. So here's where we are now. Now at least I got rid of my denominators. Now I'm just going to try to simplify this as much as I can. So let's see, 33 times 2x is 66x. 33 times 1 is 33. So that's 66x plus 33. 22 times x is 22x. 22 times minus 2 is minus 44. So that's 22x minus 44. Now over here, it's better to go ahead and FOIL these two, multiply these two binomials together. X times 2x is 2x squared, and then the outer product would be x, the inner product would be minus 4x, so x minus 4x is minus 3x, and then minus 2 times 1 is minus 2. Then just multiply then multiply the 13 through. So 13 times 2x is 26x squared, 13 times minus 3 is minus 39x, 13 times minus 2 is minus 26. Now over here I collected like terms. 66x plus 22x is 88x, and then 33 minus 44 is minus 11. Now you may be wondering, okay, how did I get to the next step? Well, let me show you. So what I did is I knew I needed to get rid of this 88x, so if I subtract 88x from both sides, I have minus 88x over there, and then it'll cancel over here. And then I need to get rid of this minus 11, so if I add 11 to the right hand side and add 11 to the left hand side, well, the left hand side, the minus 11 plus 11 will cancel, and the right hand side I'll have plus 11. So basically, since these two terms cancel, I get 0 on the left, and then over here, if I take minus 39x minus 88x, that's where I got the minus 127x. And then the minus 26 plus 11 is where the minus 15 came from. But now I have a polynomial equation, and if I can factor this polynomial, then it will actually, I'll be able to solve it. Because if I factor this, then I know since it equals 0, I can set each factor equal to 0 to solve it. Okay, so let's see. What are the factors? Well, the only factors of 26x squared are either 26x and x, which is actually what we have to use. But the only other choice would be 13x and 2x. So I'll let you fiddle with that long enough. But if you try 26x and x, and then use plus 3 here and a minus 5 here for the minus 15, you'll actually find that that product agrees with this middle term, minus 127x. So those are the two factors. And then, of course, to solve a polynomial equation equal to 0, you just set each of these factors equal to 0 and solve it. So if I set this factor equal to 0, I subtract 3, divide by 26, and I get negative 3 over 26. And then here, set x minus 5 equal to 0, just add 5 to both sides and get x equal 5. Now you want to check your answers. One thing I probably should mention here is that each of these fractions have a domain that, or a number that you cannot include. Like here, remember you can't divide by 0. So we know the answer can't be 2, right? Because if x is 2, you'd have 3 divided by 0. So you might want to make a note of that on future problems. Like here, x cannot equal 2. Okay, and then for here, you'd have to say, well, what would make this 0? Well, you could set it equal to 0 and figure out, but x cannot equal negative 1/2. If x is negative 1/2, now the reason I'm telling you this is because there are some problems where you might get one of these answers that are not allowed, or one of these answers that are not in the domain. You might get one of those answers down here in your final answer. Now we didn't this time, but if that ever happens, then you've got to toss that answer out, because that's an answer that does not work. So just keep that in mind. Alright, so that's how you solve a rational equation. Now, one thing I would like to mention, if you have a ratio, like for instance, let's say this term wasn't here. Okay, well, if you just had a ratio where you have a single fraction on each side of the equal sign, you could do what's called cross multiplication, where you take 2 times 11 equals 13 times this. So, but again, you can only do that if you have a single fraction on each side of the equal sign. So that's really just a shortcut to eliminating the denominator. And that's pretty much it. I'll show you some other equations in the next video.